Hi and welcome. This is a follow-up video on the DJI Romo S. In this video, I'm testing the optional bristle brushes. The Romo S, as the smallest version, normally comes only with the full rubber brushes, which means the bristle brushes have to be purchased separately. The main difference besides the bristles is that the rubber flaps are slightly softer compared to the full rubber brush. I'm taking another look here at how the cleaning performance on hard floors and carpets has improved or possibly worsened. Let's get started. Let's get started with my hard floor test. For this test, I use certified test dust. This dust simulates typical household dust and is also used in various testing standards. I applied 0.45 grams of it to my test surface. The test surface is laminate. This laminate has a slightly textured surface, meaning there are some grooves, and of course we also have the joints between the individual laminate panels. I then let the robots run over the surface 8 times, initially in pure suction mode. These runs are of course carried out with the maximum suction level and in the 2-pass cleaning mode, if the robot supports that. I then use a microfiber cloth to check the surface and joints for how much dust is left behind. We can already see from the footage that the result doesn't look particularly good, even with the bristle brush. I'll now run the crevice test and the wipe test once again, and we can see that a significant amount of dust remains. This is exactly what we saw earlier with the rubber brush as well. This is something we're familiar with from other combo devices. Here's a small selection for comparison. From a purely suction standpoint, this type of debris can be removed with a cordless vacuum in 2 to 4 passes. There are also dedicated robot vacuums, such as the Dyson VisNav, that can handle this without any issues and leave the test surface completely dust-free. Of course, the performance of the mopping function doesn't change. That means the surface gets clean, but the grout lines remain dirty. You can find the details of this test in the video on the full rubber brush. But basically, I'm just running the whole test again like before with 8 vacuum passes followed by 2 rounds of mopping. There are only 2 combo devices I have tested so far being able to remove the dust from the grout lines with mopping. The iRobot Roomba Max 705 combo and the iRobot Roomba 205 combo, which can use an optional Y pattern for cleaning that makes actually a difference. You can find the corresponding tests for all mentioned devices on my channel. Let's now take a look at the carpet cleaning performance using the bristle brushes. Perhaps there is at least some improvement here. As always, I conduct the test using certified test dust. Of this, 10 grams were applied to the carpets shown at the top of the image and 5 grams to the dirt mat at the bottom of the image. The dirt mat at the bottom is additionally tested with a pre-applied sand contamination. For this, an additional 10 grams were applied in a specific spot. The test result is weighed after 14 cleaning passes for the carpets at the top and after 7 cleaning passes for the dirt mat. The robot vacuums are of course allowed to clean using the maximum possible suction settings. This applies both to the raw suction power and to the driving pattern itself. In each case, the driving pattern with the greatest overlap is selected. Let's take a look at the results. Of the 10 grams of pre-applied sand on the dirt mat, the robot equipped with bristle brushes was able to pick up 94%. This corresponds to an intake of 9.4 grams out of the applied 10 grams. This is an increase of 10 percentage points compared to the result of the rubber brush testing. When dealing with contamination using certified test dust, the result is somewhat weaker. In this case, the robot achieves a pickup rate of 64%, which equals 3.2 grams out of the applied 5 grams. But this is still an impressive increase of 20 percentage points compared to the result of the rubber brush testing. On the carpet with the dark blue, very soft pile, the results are as follows. After 14 cleaning passes, the robot removed 66% of the applied test dust, corresponding to 6.6 grams out of 10 grams and an increasement of 6 percentage points compared to the rubber brush. For dirt pickup on the red carpet, which has a very dense pile with a defined pile direction, the performance drops significantly. Due to this pile direction, the carpet is cleaned only in horizontal passes. Here, the robot achieves a pickup rate of just 28%, meaning 2.8 grams out of the applied 10 grams are collected. This is a decreasement of 6 percentage points compared to the rubber brush results. This is no surprise since the bristle version has only very soft rubber fins compared to the full rubber brush that has some stiffer fins in addition. Stiffer elements for carpet agitation are needed for this type of carpet and pile to get good cleaning results. I'll now show the results once again in direct comparison with devices from Dream, Mover, and Roborock, as well as with my current top 7. The results shown in red represent the performance of the full rubber brush. The results shown in green reflect the performance of the bristle brush. It becomes clear that, especially when using the bristle brush, the robot delivers noticeably better results than many of the devices currently offered by Dream and, in particular, Mova. The results on the dirt mat are especially improved when using the bristle brush. For this reason, it is hard for me to understand why this is not the standard brush included with the robot. The only drawback is that very dense carpets are not cleaned well with the bristle brush. When compared to Roborock, a similar picture emerges. Here as well, the robot performs significantly better in some cases when using the bristle brush, just as was already observed with the Dream and Mover devices. At Roborock, essentially only the S7 and the Q10 still deliver reasonably good performance. Most of the other models Roborock has released in recent times are, for the most part, below average. That concludes the comparison with what are now the most media-hyped manufacturers. Next, we'll take another look at how the robot compares to my current top 7. As announced, we will now take another look at the results in comparison with my current top 7. This overview includes all manufacturers and shows the top-performing results for each carpet type. On the dark blue carpet, the bristle brush version of the DJI Romo achieves a cleaning performance of 66% as previously mentioned. This result is sufficient to secure a place in the top 7 for this carpet, pushing the Uphet V10 out of the ranking. At the same time, it becomes clear that there is still a considerable gap to the top 3, as there are robots capable of removing 100% or nearly 100% of the dirt from this carpet. Next, we move on to the dirt mat with certified test dust contamination. Here, the DJI Romo with the bristle brush narrowly misses out on a top 7 placement. However, we have seen that its performance is significantly better compared to the full rubber brush. That said, there are still robots currently, the AEG RX 9.2 in particular, that achieve a full 100% dirt pickup, and several other models also perform noticeably better overall. We then look at sand contamination. With the bristle brush, the DJI Romo reaches 94%, which represents another improvement, and is enough to place it within the top 7. At the same time, many robots achieve at least 90%, which has effectively become the threshold below which robots are considered clearly below average. Even here, there are multiple robots in the top 3 that can remove 100% or nearly 100% of the sand. Finally, we come to the red carpet with a very dense pile. As expected, the result here is not sufficient for a top 7 ranking. There are devices that perform significantly better, both in the mid-range and especially among the top 3, leaving a clear gap in performance. My overall conclusion on the DJI Romo cleaning performance doesn't change all that much. It performs better or as good as some other flagship devices from the competition, but we're still looking at a robot whose cleaning results are rather disappointing, especially when you take DJI's performance claims into account. As mentioned, we're talking about 25,000 pascals of suction and an airflow volume of 20 liters per second, which corresponds to roughly 42 CFM. For numbers like these, what we're seeing here is genuinely disappointing, particularly the performance on hard floors. Once again, this clearly shows that these headline figures don't really mean much on their own. What actually matters is how much of that performance reaches the cleaning head in real-world use, and how efficiently that performance is then utilized. That's a completely different matter. What really surprises me here is why DJI doesn't use the bristle brush as the standard option, because overall the robot performs better with it. Just like with many other devices, this is more of a sweeping robot with typical mopping performance rather than a true vacuum robot, something we're already familiar with from many other combo devices. That's it from me for this video. Thanks for watching and see you next time.